Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful evening that I am in the middle of two brilliant minds. To my right, I am with my senior advocate, Mr. Akude Ajura, a member of the ODM party, and he's going to be forming part of this panel today as we discuss the political awakening in Kenya. And on my right, I'm with Mr. Wakili Saruni Jessy, got it right, the president of the Kenya Students University Organization, and also the acting Deputy Secretary General of the Democratic Party of Kenya. In this episode, we want to discuss the look or whatever is happening in the Kenyan political scene nationally, and we'll also be projecting from Mr. Ajura here is a member of the ODM party, and Mr. Jessy here is the member of the Democratic Party of Kenya. So we'll also be listening on their insights and their thought of the projection of 2027. But most importantly, we'll be taking a look at what's happening in the devolution in the county governments as we speak right now. So without much ado, I'm your host Ogola, and let's delve right in. I'll start with my friend Wakili Jessy. How is the Democratic Party of Kenya faring ahead of the 2027 political alignment?
Thank you very much, and indeed that is a brilliant question. So, as you well know, Democratic Party of Kenya is a very brilliant party. It is a party that was founded by a prominent Kenyan by the name His Excellency, the late Honorable Moi Kibaki. So this is a party that stands on principle, a party that really aims to engage Kenyans in decision making and to ensure that all Kenyans across board are empowered. So the party is faring really well, and we have by-elections.
Yeah, 27 of them across the country.
Of course we have by-elections, and we lost one seat when the Mayor North MP was given the CS position. So we are going back to the electorate in Mayor North. He won that ticket under Democratic Party of Kenya ticket. So we are going back to the constituency and requesting them to give us that seat because it is a Democratic Party of Kenya seat.
Thank you so much, Mr. Saruni. Mr. Saruni says their party is a brilliant party that empowers people. And so that brings us to Mr. Ajura on this end, because right now we know ODM is in a memorandum of understanding with the UDA government that's accused of fake empowerment. So as Mr. Saruni is talking of empowerment, let's hear from Mr. Ajura. What do you think of your party ahead of 2027? And is the empowerment scheme that is being done in Democratic Party of Kenya the same with the one in your cohort?
All right, thank you very much for that question. I think Mr. Saruni is misleading in this show when he's saying that they do empowerment, because an issue on empowerment are things that need to be seen. We can't say that we have seen. In fact, I don't know even this party. I'm hearing this party for the first time. But that said and done, yes, I'm a member of ODM party, and as you know, right now we are in a memorandum of understanding with the ruling government. But our party leader is very, very clear on the extent and scope of that memorandum of understanding. He says that we are supporting this government so long as we ring-fence the rule of law in this country. Because you saw what happened that led to this particular MOU were things that could have actually led to anarchy in this country. So our party leader, in his own wisdom, saw it fit that we needed to join hands with the government of the day and support it for the sake of preserving the rule of law. But that negotiation did not extend to who ODM will support in 2027. Yes, recently, because of that understanding, we have seen a number of things happening. You remember we seconded our experts into the government, and the economy is improving. That is one thing that we have to appreciate, that the very day our experts got into the government, a number of things have been taking place, and we can see changes taking place. Empowerment, of course, you saw how President Ruto did the empowerment in Nairobi. even though he's being accused of fake empowerment, which is not true. And here I really blame the media. You know, media needs to do what is called investigative journalism. if you are saying there is an allegation that President did not give empowerment or showcased those items for empowerment and later on took them back, you need to give them the right to be heard and also hear the other side of the story, which the media did not do. I can tell you, as a matter of fact, I was there, and many youth in this county got opportunity to be empowered in different categories of businesses that they do. So to say that it was fake empowerment, I think that particular statement is quite unfounded.
Misplaced. Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Civic Lens. The conversation begins. On empowerment, the Democratic Party of Kenya says they are a very smart party that is known for empowerment. The ODM party, on the other hand, that is a memorandum of understanding with the UDA government, blames the media and the critics for only listening to one side of the story. And Mr. Ajura here provides himself as one witness who attended the empowerment. So we start right there. Empowerment. Mr. Saruni, you heard the media bites of individuals who went, who were promised motorbikes, and who got to the gate and the GSU told them to go home. Until date, they don't have motorbikes. Mr. Ajura here said that the media ought to have done a two-tier analysis of empowerment. What's your take on this?
In fact, I have engaged with several young people who attended that forum. And the truth of the matter is what the media aired. A lot of youths went there. They had some very amazing food.
They ate.
They ate, yes, they ate. And then they were taken, their pictures were taken of them in State House. They took pictures in State House. Some of them were lucky, a few, one or two, to take a picture with the president. And then after that, they were told, pick a soda as you go.
So that was the empowerment, the eating, the pictures.
Yes, I think the government is very much misplaced in terms of empowerment. Because why would you feed someone for a day and call that empowerment? Why would you use PR to run the government? Why would you give the youth 2,000 and request them to leave the State House? We have seen other delegations going to State House. They get 10,000 shillings. But the youth, do you think 10,000 is too much for you? If you're giving other delegations from Kiambu, we saw the other day, we saw some other places the other day again. If you're giving them 10,000, why are you giving the youth 2,000? You know, I like ODM because Baba said during the previous campaign, he will give every Kenyan 6,000.
Yeah.
He didn't say, I will give Kenyans 6,000 and the youth 2,000. For him, he was speaking equally. So I'm concerned that my brother decided to join a government that we were part of as a party, Democratic Party. We were part of that government, but we walked out because the ideals that Democratic Party of Kenya believes in were not being exemplified in this government. They were ignored. You see, Democratic Party of Kenya and Mwai Kibaki is the party that introduced free primary education. Right now, if you see, I was looking at the newspaper today, Daily Nation, the first page, over 32 billion has not been dispersed to school, and we are in that term. You see? Mwai Kibaki is the one who introduced transport as an economy for the young people. He introduced the young people to the transport sector. He made importation and sale of motorbikes very cheap. And that is why during his time we saw a lot of motorbikes getting into the country, and we saw people, young people engaging in that sector. And it has employed millions since then.
Let's pick it from the Kibaki point for a bit. You see, most people, and still on the Democratic Party of Kenya, most people have accused Kibaki's transport mechanism to just be a move to introduce a super highway straight to Kikuyu villages. And it has been a conversation that has been had in different platforms that Kibaki's transport mechanism was a way of making sure that Kikuyus got, during festive season, got home quicker than most people. But when we're talking about the education platform, free primary education of course came from Kibaki. And I'm learning in this platform that Kibaki was under a Democratic of Party Kenya when free primary education came in. Perhaps we hear what Ajura thinks of the same. Ajura, as you are taking it from Jessy Saruni, the concept of empowerment that you're saying is not fake. We have had other news bites of empowerment that occurred even prior to the State House one, where other state officials went with money and went back with money. So if the State House one was successful, then perhaps what is your party saying of the rest of the other empowerment schemes?
First I want to debunk the fallacy that there was no empowerment at State House. Number one, Saruni was not there. Number two is relying on the media reporting. Media, as I told you, they did not do it in the ethical manner that is required of, journalism. That when you go and find people, because politicians can pay people to go and say nonsense, because there are so many or a number of opponents around, and some of them command those youth. So what they can do is to get youth and expose them to media and train them on scripted information on what to say. But I can tell you, as someone who was there, I was personally coordinating the entire Nairobi during that exercise. So that explains the centrality of my role during that particular point, and also the fact that I witnessed what happened. On day one, when people came there to receive these goodies, it was open, and you could even see all these items. The president was being taken around, being shown different items that groups have actually proposed to have. After that, the distribution took a little bit longer because it was impossible, practically impossible, to be able to distribute these things on day one. So I remember pretty well that on day one, Mathare constituency received all their items. On day two, they lined and queued like 4 constituencies, which went and received the items. Then the last day again, other constituencies that remained went there and received the item. So it is wrong to make accusations on something that you have no proof. Secondly, I'm surprised. I am hearing this party for the first time, and Jesse is trying to give it a lot of accolades, on what this party achieved.
Rightly so, is the Deputy Secretary General.
Yes, during the Kibaki era. But it is important to note that during the Kibaki era, Raila Odinga was part of that government. And I hasten to add that during that time, it is public knowledge that Raila Odinga took part in the designing of some of the beautiful roads that you're seeing around. There is a question you have posed to my friend Jesse regarding discrimination when it comes to fair distribution of resources. That is, I can summarize your question. It is true that certain regions in this country have been segregated and have been subjected to more of pernicious pattern of discrimination in terms of development and how distribution of resources is supposed to be done. When you have one major road going from Nairobi to a particular direction and the same is not reflected to other areas, then it begs the question really what is happening in terms of development. Today we have a serious problem when you go towards Kisumu. When you want to use the Nairobi-Nakuru highway, you realize that when there is a slight accident along that road, people will sleep on that road. They will spend a lot of time because of traffic. These are some of the things we need to address moving forward. And with President Ruto, he has given us these positive signals about how he wants to develop the country without any discrimination. And that is why we are supporting it.
Let's put it there. We'll take a look at why ODM is in this box really ahead of 2027. But before we make accolades for one team, Sha.
That is an interesting one. Well, you've seen how millions are being stolen.
Shortly after eCitizen, not long after eCitizen.
Yes. First of all, eCitizen monies have been stolen. There was a lot of shoddy deals in giving that tender to private entities, and now you see how much money has been lost to dubious, fictitious hospitals. I strongly feel that SHA was nothing more than an attempt to steal public resources by this regime. And I'm saying that because I would want to look at the books of accounts of NHIF when it was closing down or when it was transitioning. Because I believe it had a lot of resources, a lot of finances, a lot of assets. And now we bring SHA, a very new entity. I want to know, did all these assets transition from NHIF to SHA? Again, the distribution of resources, or rather the payments that are being made by SHA, what informs those payments? Because evidently it is a scheme to steal and swindle money. It is a scheme by the government. We have seen fictitious in hospitals in forests being given millions. We are seeing the chairman of the CEO of
Mr. Adnan Mohammed.
Yes, paying to his own company,
Ladnan Hospital.
Ladnan Hospital, millions of money.
66 precisely.
Yes. So if you look at the arrangement around SHA, it is not meant to benefit the Kenyan. It is meant to benefit only a few.
Mr. Jura, was e-citizen and SHA necessary from the very beginning?
Well, I have to admit that I personally took part in some of the legislative reforms that we had that actually led to existence of SHA. There were around 4 bills that went to Parliament that were meant to address the question of social health care and indeed to try to transform the former NHIF. We also had those ones that were meant to, and this was actually within the social assistance, the social health. The fact that there are instances where we have chronic illnesses that needs to be addressed. So it was a well-intentioned legislation. There was another one that spoke to the question of digital health transfer, especially across the border. There was another one that was trying to address the question of health facility financing, because we are faced with a number of problems where you see clinics, especially if I use Nairobi as an example, clinics, let's say a clinic in Kayole is dependent on Mama Lucy Hospital for it to get distribution of grants. So some of these acts were meant to try to see how they could bring up some of this health facility and at the same time reach the mwananchi in terms of addressing their health needs. Now the problem is there, and I have to admit that these legislations were well intentioned, but the system that came, especially the ICT related system that is supposed to ring fence and make these legislations work, appear to be leaking, and it is something that needs to be addressed as a matter of urgency. So we have seen some of what my friend Jessy is speaking about that has taken place, but I'm happy that by yesterday the CS in charge of health had given some files to the police to deal with those cases. So we hope at the end of the day we'll see light.
That's a very interesting point. Even before we go further, now that you're an advocate and you're a lawyer and a panel of lawyers over here, if the CS of health could be an interested person, or let's say an accused person with the SHA fraudulent schemes, then how suitable is he to actually submit those papers to the DCI? Do you think there ought to have been another officer, an independent officer, now that SHA is on the spot, who would have...
You know, right now we all have to agree that it's the CS and the buck stops with him.
With the CS.
In terms of responsibility. So he has to tell Kenyans that, you know, I'm doing something. So what he has done so far is commendable. However, if there are such scintilla of conflict of interest that are likely to be seen, then it can still be raised. And you don't need even to go to the DCI to investigate at Duale. You can, you know, pursue that under constitutional litigation and have him step aside, or if there is good evidence overwhelming, as you so say, then the same can still be redressed through the High Court.
Deputy Secretary General, Aden Duale has been on the spot lately for not really positive things. He's being accused of unique high-headedness that's coming from the closeness that he has, the proximity that he has to power. From your party and from where you sit, what do you think of the action of Aden Duale actually being the one that submitted those papers to the DCI?
Well, this government is run by PR and their tricks. So whatever Duale is doing is just to calm the nerves of Kenyans. We saw Deputy the DIG, Deputy Inspector General. He stepped aside when Ojwang was murdered, and recently he made several reshuffles. That means he wants to flex that I am back and there's nothing you can do about it. So even for Duale to submit whatever document to DCI, that is just theatrics, pure PR. There is nothing that can come out of it. They know what they are doing. They just want to engage in that manner so that they can show the public that we are really committed in the fight against corruption. But indeed, there is nothing that will get out of it.
Parliament is corrupt. The president made those statements.
I concur with the President on those statements. And I'm telling you, President, like he said correctly, that he has the benefit of receiving intelligence. He's being briefed every day about what is happening in this country from different corners. So when you see the man on top of command saying that Parliament is corrupt, I don't think it is something that we need to politicize as a country, but you need to dig deeper into it and investigate and find who are these people that are culpable so that we deal with them. But Parliament, based from my own observation, looking at how they have been conducting their business, you realize that it is public knowledge that the 13th Parliament is viewed as one of the weakest comparing to the previous Parliament that we've had. That such instances can only occur if there is some problem, vitiating factors, and corruption is one of them. So I concur and agree with those statements.
That the Parliament is corrupt.
It is.
And then the parliamentarians have come out to blame the president for being the prefect of corruption.
Well, the president always tries to want to make us believe that he reads the Bible. Unfortunately, I find it that he reads it selectively, because the Bible clearly says, before you remove a speck in my eye, remove the log in yours. So I remember some time back in newspapers, he was crowned as the king of corruption. It is in public domain that he is accused or suspected of engaging in different forms of corruption over a very long period of time. And it is obvious that the first thing that he did when he took over government was to bring the MPs was to buy MPs, for lack of a better word. And now I think he seems to find that several or quite a number of MPs are slipping away from his grip, and that is why he now wants to persecute them. It is true this is the weakest parliament that we've ever had. I agree with my brother, but the president himself has contributed to that. He has pushed his own interest. When he was speaking about giving 10 million to be distributed to different MPs, he asked the MPs whether they received the money.
During the passing of Prokamla.
It was during the joint PG. He himself stated 10 million was given. Did you receive it? So if the receiver is corrupt, what do we call the person giving?
Corruption goes both ways, giving and taking of bribes.
Absolutely.
So, if Parliament is corrupt and the president gives bribe that Mr. Saruni has said, he even confirms publicly, and the very president blames the judiciary for anticipatory bail, then where is hope?
I think it reaches a point in time that you all have to accept that, okay, all of us are wrong, but now let us speak the truth, and the truth should set us free. Yes, it is true, and as my brother Saruni puts it, that president has had the log of corruption on his neck most of the time. But what he didn't tell you is that during those moments he was supporting him. So my brother, when he was that side, I used to tell him, this guy is corrupt. But he ended up supporting him. He voted for him. I did vote for him. But he needed our support to let his reign start. So we are there for him. But it goes back to the question of voters' consciousness. Because voters need to be, properly educated and even learn that when they go to the ballot and they mean business on who they want to elect in this country, they need to make a conscious decision. So my brother here didn't make a conscious decision based on what he's saying. But we are saying all is not lost. We have to support the government that he placed on power and have to support it until the last time. Until the last minute, when it is necessary now to reconsider those decisions.
To reconsider those decisions, let's deviate a little bit from national politics and narrow our lenses in what's happening in the counties. Mr. Ajura here told us that for a long time, different parts of Kenya had been segregated, and even blamed the Mwai Kibaki for doing a very good road that ended in Kikuyu villages. But lately, we are seeing a turn of such thing happening, where Ruto focuses his resources to the Nyanza region. People have been saying Ruto is doing this to buy support ahead of 2027. I'm seated here with two brilliant gentlemen. One comes from that region. And I want to start with Mr. Saruni. What is your take on the current development being geared specifically to the Nyanza region, and we could even dearly say specifically to Homa Bay County? What would you say the president is targeting to achieve with this new focus?
First of all, development anywhere is good. So I embrace development when it's happening across board. Seeing Homa Bay County receiving resources and really using the resources in a manner that will add value to the citizens of Homa Bay is something that is really commendable. So absolutely I agree that they deserve that, and they even deserve more. And not just Homa Bay, all other counties in the Nyanza region and in all counties in Kenya, they deserve development. So I really don't have an issue with that. I'm okay with that. But development should not be translated to bribery. Let me not say that because now you're getting development, I am a saint. No, it shouldn't be translated like that. I will talk about the road that was built, the Thika Super Highway. And my friend really is an economist as well, and he understands the value that Thika Super Highway adds to the economy. It was informed by the number of vehicles that were passing, because they had to do a survey. At that point, it will take you at least 2 hours to come from Thika to Nairobi. And that is because you'll find that people are working in Nairobi, but they are renting houses. Not just people from central Kenya, people from all over the country. They are renting houses in Ruiru, they are renting houses in Thika, they are renting houses in everywhere, from Mathare all the way to Thika. People are renting houses there, and every day they are commuting. Still, even up to this moment, when you go to Thika Road in the morning, you'll still find traffic, and it's a super highway. If you look at that highway over the weekends, it's usually again very chaotic. There's a lot of vehicles there. But having said that, I also understand that his party leader, Raila Odinga, was in government when that was being done. So he also has some credit on that. So if it was a wrong thing, we should also ask him, why were you favoring a certain community? You get it?
If you permit me just to give him my quick rejoinder.
Please.
We are not saying that Thika Super Highway is a bad project. It is a good project, a commendable one. What we are saying, do the same in other places. Don't just do it in Thika, Nairobi Super Highway, and ignore other places. Because that is basically what we saw. Because you can't tell me that there was only that amount that could help do Thika to Nairobi, but could not do, let's say, Nairobi to Mombasa, or could not do Nairobi to even Nakuru. It was quite tactical. They did it for political reasons. Yes, Baba was there, and at the time maybe factors favored Thika's highway, in the belief that one day we'll also get. Secondly, regarding the president's moves in Nyanza, you know, there are instances where development can also be done through affirmative actions. And it is true that Nyanza as a region has been lagging behind in terms of development. So if you see the president giving us the goodwill and coming to launch projects, it is a good thing and a good show that indeed even these counties that have been left behind before can also be brought back to be at par with the rest. So I don't see anything wrong with it.
Is this back going to sustain beyond 2027 if perhaps we go by the critics'
Of course, if we go, you know, all this we read again at the backdrop of the MOU.
Of course.
And as per the MOU was about compensate the victims of post-election violence. Number 2, give Kenya's development. And number 3, we want the rule of law. They are delineated in that MOU. And if you read that MOU, you won't see anywhere that let us support Ruto in 2027. But we are also saying that if by 2027 we find it plausible enough that let us support Ruto, why not? We can support him. But we cannot say the development that we are getting, we have to give back.
In 2027.
That is not automatic.
Now they want to pull Kiambu out of Mount Kenya, that is being blamed out of this, benefiting from the same road that we have just discussed. And the move to pull Kiambu out of Mount Kenya is a political move ahead of 2027. Jesse.
Well, Mount Kenya is classified as a region, but really it's a community. Kiambu is very far from Mount Kenya, but the people of Kiambu are the same community with the people classified as Mount Kenya. So you cannot in any way bring any form of tribalism or division within a community, within a country, and claim that you're doing the right thing for political reasons. So I find that to be very mean of anyone who would want to divide a community, anyone who would want to divide a family, anyone who would want to divide a country. So it is very much misplaced, and it will bear no fruit at the end of the day.
Why are you guys pulling Kiambu out of the Mount Kenya region? Is it because the force that Gachagua embodies with Kiambu is a threat to the Memorandum of Understanding up to 2027 and a threat to Ruto beyond 2027?
Of course, without minting my words.
Yeah.
This is all politics. This is all politics, and politics is a game.
Yeah.
It's like chess that you push king here, you push those pawns here and there. So if you see those political undertones are trying now to come up, it means interests are high and people need to balance the interest. Yes, currently I give it to Amunyoru that is like galvanizing the bigger Mount Kenya. And as my friends say, you know, Mount Kenya starts right here at the doorstep of Nairobi. That is the truth based on the political homogeneity of the people that hail from that other side. They in most cases speak the same language. And right now, Wamunyoro is in favor of that language, is favored by that language that they speak. Now, to any other politician who is standing at an advantage point, what can such a politician do? Is to find a way to divide them by all means and all measures. And that is basically what is happening. It is trying to do that in contemplation of 2027 politics.
Political interest, betrayals, and division. Now Raila is running away from his political student here in the county of Nairobi, and he's in attempt to help Sakaja. There has been 87 signatures that have been tendered to see Sakaja out of office. And 2 series of meetings have been held just this week where Raila has been trying so hard to meet with the leadership of Nairobi to protect Sakaja. Jesse.
Sakaja's time is up. Let us be honest. The guy has messed up this town. The guy has messed up this city. He has brought shame to this great city under the sun. I fail to understand how a governor would dump garbage in his own city.
As a revenge.
It's a revenge. You have other avenues. You can use the law to
Revenge.
to claim if there are any debts that are not paid. You can use different avenues, but for you to be really go to that low level, it's something that we've never seen and we've never anticipated. Sakaja has failed to use the county resources in a manner that will translate or add value to the people of Nairobi. Sakaja has failed in all manner of ways. We saw the other time when we had floods, people were suffering. So for the MCAs to really want Sakaja impeached, I want to believe it's because they are responding to the
ground.
Yes, they are responding to their constituents. They are responding to their voters. Their voters are very clear. We don't want this guy. So what the MCAs are doing, they are just using the power that they were given by the people to express the voice of the people at the county assembly by impeaching this guy. He will try and use resources, county resources, maybe swindle resources, I don't know. But really, even if he succeeds, he's never coming back to that position.
Mr. Ajura, you're a member of the ODM party. And being a member of the ODM party here at the Civic Lands, we are of the belief that you just do not support the party leader, you support the party policies. And there is one individual who has really been very honest to the party, very loyal to the party, has served the party until he declared his interest for the county of Nairobi as a gubernatorial candidate. But shortly after he declared his interest, we saw hell broke loose. The person that has mentored him into politics went behind Sakaja. What is going on within your backyard?
Oh, for the record, I want to say that personally, we are the proponent of Babu Owino for Governor 2027. We support him fully. He's a youth like myself, and some of the dream to become a governor were actually cooked in places where I was equally involved. And again, like you say, the party position is also there, which times we cannot question. The same way right now, the MCS of Nairobi County are desirous of getting Sakaja impeached. But that, I don't think will see the light of the day, because the leadership, or rather in particular the party leader, had summoned them and gave them a different view of why he believes Sakaja should not be impeached. And that remains law. It remains law so long as you are a member of ODM party. And if we see you going against what the party position has actually outlined, we will come for you and look at you as a traitor. I don't think, for the public, they look at Babu Owino candidature in a different angle. They bring a lot of what they are trying to prescribe what is not there as at now. That Babu Owino has been kicked out of the ODM, which is not true. That Babu Owino is not the ODM preferred candidate for 2027 governor. That again is not true, because the ODM has not unveiled a candidature for that particular position. So as far as I am concerned, we are going to bring these who are right at the doorstep of the party. We are going to compete favorably and fiercely with those who are going to come and fight for Nairobi governor through the ODM party. So Babu is not away, he is inside, and we are going to face each other in the future.
If Babu is inside Jessy, the way Duale wants us to believe, and ODM is okay with the current position behind Sakaja, then what is the fate of Kenya Moja? What really could be the aim of Kenya Moja, with Babu still in ODM, Sifuna still in ODM, and they are out there fronting their, their positions as a bucket of individuals that want to amass votes ahead of 2027. So before I come back to Jura on what's going to be the fate of Babu Owino and Sifuna within the party, what do you think is the fate of the Kenya Moja movement? Is it a political brokerage, or is it a political project?
Well, I will say Kenya Moja is neither of the two. Kenya Moja is just a voice of reason. It is a voice that wants to speak for the youth, of course. It is a voice that wants to speak to the people who have been marginalized. It is a voice that seeks for opportunities for people across board. Because if I look at the membership of Kenya Moja, yes, there is a substantial amount of members from ODM, but there are also members from other regions and other places. So I feel it is okay for any person to engage and exchange ideas with people who have similar ideas. It is okay for anyone to sit together with anyone and look for opportunities for their people. So I find it to be a really nice platform for the young leaders to engage and just speak about whatever the youth want. If you look at the youth and the young people in this country, you'll find that they are a little bit sidelined. For instance, when the broad-based government was being formed, we don't see any young person engaged. We see our very prominent elders engaging at that level. After they do that, you're given an instruction, this is the way to go. So I think it's also in order for young people to aspire, to come together, to unite, and to speak with one voice.
What is the fate of Kenya Moja Ajura?
You know, Kenya Moja is which, like the Kalonzo-led team?
No, there's this current team that has Babu Wino, Edwin Sifuna,
this one that is moving around recently.
Yeah, it's the middle ground. They don't want to be called the third force because they wonder why the rest are first and second. So it's a Kenya Moja alliance.
I don't see the opposition if that is a formation that is going to purport to front any candidate, especially for presidency in 2027. I don't see them seeing the light.
They have a very interesting intention. Most of them really do not want to front candidates, but they want to amass their votes because people listen to them and they listen to the ground. And when 2027 reaches, they will bid.
It will amount to self-preservation. Yeah, in my view.
Which Jesse has said, it's neither brokerage nor...
Yes, it is just self-preservation, because politics is an interesting game, I tell you. Sometimes when you realize that the ground may not shift in your way, or even the boardroom arrangements are not working as per your expectation, you have to rethink around it. And I think that is what they are basically doing right now. But I also don't see them being a formidable force to scare anyone who would want to be president of this country.
Let's talk about that. That's what we'll be talking about as we finish this episode here at the Civic Lens. We'll be taking a look at the projection of 2027. And Mr. Jura here is so confident that Kenya Moja is really nowhere as a force ahead of 2027. Jesse, as we have been told, is from the Democratic Party of Kenya. And so right now we are seeing alignment. We are seeing ODM joining the UDA party and the current party that was started by Mudavadi, called Duale, part of the current government, and they're going to front a candidate maybe jointly, maybe ODM is going to pull out of the memorandum of understanding, but we're expecting candidates from that line. When we look at the united opposition, we can see that there is likelihood of a division ahead of 2027 if all the candidates want the presidential seat. We are seeing Rigathi Gachagua there, we are seeing Martha Karua in that lineup, we are seeing Okengo Matiang'i in that lineup, we are seeing Kalonzo in that lineup, and they are promising that they're going to front one candidate come December 2026. But all of them are showing political interest for the big seat ahead of 2027. Then we are seeing Kenya Moja, which do not want to identify as a third alliance, but have members of parliament and members of senate pushing ahead of 2027. As we close this section here at the Civic Lens, these two brilliant gentlemen, will tell us their political projection ahead of 2027 coming from those three cohorts. I'll start with Mr. Jessy Saruni.
Thank you very much. And of course, I would want to mention that apart from the names that you mentioned, we also have J.B. Muturi, we have Eugene Wamalwa, we have Martha Karua, we have, so all of them are potential presidential candidates. And the agreement is that when the time comes, they will announce who the presidential candidate flag bearer will be. But for now, all of them are candidates, but none of them is the flag bearer of the united opposition. So time will tell. in regards to projection, I feel that they are in the right side of history, because of course all the citizens in this country, a very huge amount of number of citizens in this country, a very huge percentage, they are very tired of this government, this administration. People are sleeping hungry on a daily basis. People are suffering. People are not able to pay rent. People are not able to pay school fees. Education has become tampered with. The president wants to prove himself by changing everything that we know. He did that with SHA. He has done that with education, university funding. You get. So he just wants to bring new things, and he needs to understand that a government is not built in a day, and you cannot change everything in a day. So if we look at this united opposition, we see opportunities for even working with other interested parties, interested entities, people who believe that really Kenya needs change. Kenya Moja, for instance, we've heard that they are very, some of them have spoken, they said, if Ruto will be supported by, let's say, ODM's party leader, they will not support that candidate. They'd rather support anyone else. And so I feel that there is equally more opportunities to work with like-minded people. And in terms of projection of numbers right now, it's too early to do that. Well, we'll see as the days goes by.
This is what I have to say. What you see right now is not static. These things will keep on changing, readjusting here and there. And the so-called united opposition will not stay as you see them. At some point you will see some of them even coming to this other side of the government. And I'm so sure, and take this to the bank, where you see so many people with the same ambition have gathered and they claim we'll be okay to back any of us, that is impossible. Interest will still play, and at the end of the day we'll see people saying I'm not okay with the decisions that have been made, and some of them will come to the government side, some will want to go it alone, and at the end of the day the united opposition won't be there at the end of the day. And again, on self-preservation, there are also people who are there, especially the governors you see around there. They're just trying to make a case for them to go back to their constituent and find a way to be re-elected. Number 3 is the question of financial muscle. Because when you're talking about a presidential campaign, we're not just talking about child care. This is a serious thing. And where you are still going to beg for some people to fund you outside the country, then you want to come back and use that to campaign. My friend, it is very difficult, and when the time is ripe, you will see. Lastly, we are still not in the level of US, where good ideas or brilliant ideas are voted at the ballot. We are still at the formative stages where tribe is still a key factor to consider in our country as far as voting is concerned. And when the political scenes will begin, where podiums will be, ripe in terms of messages, the tribal messages, you will see everybody is, going to their tribal cocoons at the end of the day. The Luos will go to where they belong. Maasais normally belong with Luos in the same side of the history. That is what will happen. So don't be persuaded by whatever that you are seeing right now. The Mount Kenya will go back to Mount Kenya, and they will still call Raila Odinga names that they are used to calling him. Okay? As we still believe that Raila Odinga can still make the best president, if the time is ripe again and he chooses to revive, we'll be behind it. If he tells us that this time he's supporting his younger brother, William Ruto, we'll obey that particular direction. Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we will just be taking Jesse's take as we close this section, and then we'll be taking Ajura's take, and then we'll call it a day. It's been a very interesting discussion here. We are hosted at the offices of Orengo Sir,
Oringe Waswa and Opanya Law.
Oringe, Waswa, and Opanya Law Firm here at Westlands, where Mr. Ajura is also a practicing advocate. Thank you for the warm welcome. So let's go to Wakili's take before we close with Ajura's take.
Thank you very much. So, what I would say is, Ogola, that as a country, we are in a very interesting place. We are in a place where we need to have hope. People are really suffering out there. We understand people are struggling, people are not able to put food on their table, but we need to keep talking to each other. We need to keep the conversation going. We have the aspect of the Gen Zs and the young people of this country who will not affiliate with any tribe, with any leader, with any religion, with any. They just want to express their ideas objectively, and they want to ensure that this country is run in a proper manner. And I believe this number of people have a say in the next general election. They will have a major say in the next general election. So we need to keep talking to each other. We need to have people register as voters so that when the time is right, their voice can be really regarded and respected. And we are talking about a population of potential of 15.8 million voters, young people. There are people who can assist, or even they can even bring their own presidential candidate and ensure that that candidate wins if they vote as a bloc. So it is we are in very interesting times. Let us keep the conversations going, and I'm sure we'll be in a better place when the time is right.
Thank you. Okay.
Yes, I want to align my sentiment with that of Jesse. I agree that the generation that we have should actually play a pivotal role in this forthcoming election, the 2027 election. One, to guarantee youth in leadership, because we've had instances where youth are actually being discriminated when it comes to these positions of power, because of lack of finances that they can use to fund and come up with a good campaign and ascend to whatever position that they want. So if youth for the first time can say this time we are standing with our own, the better. But that is not enough, because as far as I'm concerned, I know a number of youth in this country have not registered to be voters. So the first thing, IEBC just announced mass voter registration recently, which is about to take place. Let them go to those sub-county constituency offices for IEBC and register as voters, so that we change the conversation in 2027, as my friend puts it. But without that, unfortunately, the conversation may not change to the level and threshold we want it to be. Yes.
Thank you, Wakili. Wakili Jessy Saruni says, let's keep having this conversation and let's keep having hope. He points to the youth that he represents as a president of the Kenyan University Students Organization, and he calls upon them to actually keep having this conversation ahead of 2027. He says that the population that they have in Kenya can front a presidential candidate, vote behind one, and win. Wakili Ajura echoes those statements and says that there is rather a key requirement for the youth to actually turn up in 2027 and change the conversation. And that requirement is go and get your voter card if you're a youth as early as now. I'm your host. This is The Civic Lens, and thank you for your time this afternoon.